Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today's block is called St. Gregory's block, and here is my block. I just used 2 shades of blue, and then the center star is a low volume, and these are all Lori Holt fabrics from Calico or her Prairie collection. This one is made with flying geese units and square and a square units, and the colors are different on the flying geese units, and with the square and a square units we're using 2 different prints, so that makes it a little bit different. So I hope you'll stay with me, and I'll show you how to make the St. Gregory's block. Here are the fabrics you're going to need to make the St. Gregory's block. For A, you'll need one 4.5 inch square, B is 8 2.5 inch squares, C is 8 2.5 inch squares, D is 4 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles, E is 16 2.5 inch squares, F is 4 4.5 inch squares, and G is 4 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles. Now you'll need to draw diagonal lines on the wrong sides of your B, C, and E squares. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is to make flying geese units, and I'm going to make 2 different colorways. I'm going to use D rectangles with B squares, and then use the G rectangles with the E squares. So I'm going to have 2 different sets. I'll make a total of 8 flying geese units. And these are what's going to make the kind of the V shape, the V shape in the block. And so I'm going to go ahead and put these right sides together. And if you've drawn a line, you want your diagonal line to go from the center top to the bottom right hand corner. Now I have glow line tape on my machine, which is a low tack plastic tape, and it is lined up with my needle, so I'm just going to follow my piecing along this left edge of my tape, and that will work the same way as having a line drawn, and it saves a little bit of time. I'll make one of these flying geese units and show that to you, and then I'm going to chain piece the rest together. So I'll grab my scissors. I'm going to cut off this outer corner, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then press that back. Okay, so we have that, and take another square and place it on the opposite side, and I'm going to sew from the center top to the bottom left hand corner. Okay, and now I'm going to trim this outer corner off and press it back, and then this flying geese unit will be done. Okay, so I need to make 4 of these, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will go ahead and sew the E and the G flying geese units. So I'm just going to chain piece all of these together. Okay, E squares and G rectangles. Do the same thing. Okay, see, now we need to sew these together, these two different sets of flying geese units, and we're going to match up the darker blue colors. So they're going to go right sides together, blue matching the blue. Okay, next we need to make square and a square units with the F squares and the C and the E squares. So we're going to use two different prints with the background here, and we're going to put these on opposite corners. So we'll have the E's opposite each other and we'll have the C's opposite each other. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the E squares here, and we're going to sew these on like we do the flying geese units. We're going to go from the top center to the bottom right hand corner of the E square here. And then before I trim this off, I'm just going to turn this around and then do the opposite corner and sew that square on. And this will be another E square. Okay, now I need to trim off the outer corner, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance on both of these. And then I'm going to press the triangle back. Okay, so this is what we have. And now I want to put the C squares on the opposite corners, ones that don't have anything on them yet. And I'm going to go from the top center to the bottom right hand corner again. Okay, now I'm going to trim off these corners. Okay, so here's the square and square unit. So I need to make 4 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and finish those up. Okay, so I have all 4 square and square units. So now we need to lay out the block and then sew it into rows and then sew the rows together. Okay, so I have all the units finished and ready to put this block together. So the way this works, you take the center square here, and then the flying geese units are going to go on each side, and these are going to go so that these colors match and the V is pointing towards the center. So let's lay all 4 of those out. And then these corner units, we want to continue this V shape. So the dark triangle will go towards the center, and that will continue that V shape there. So you can see now where the star will show up. You can see the star shape now, and it's light on my block, but you know, you can make that whatever color you want. So we do have points. We've got the point of the square and square units matching the flying geese right there, and that is all the way around the block. So I'll be watching that as I put the block together. So I'll adjust the camera and get started sewing the block together, and I'm going to sew the first 2 pieces of each row together, and then I'll add the 3rd piece of each row, and then I'll press everything and then sew all the rows together. Okay, here is the completed block, and I think that turned out pretty well. Just watch the points. That's the only thing that I had to slow down on and just really pay attention to was the points, and they actually turned out pretty well. I did press those last couple of seams open, and that helped when I was sewing the rows together. So the top and the bottom row, I pressed those seams open, and that helped. The rest of these, I need to repress this. It should go this way. But you can press your seams open if that will help you with the amount of bulk in here, because you do have a lot of seams coming together in those points. And you know, do this in whatever colors you like and have some fun with this. Okay, that is it for the St. Gregory's block. This one turned out really well. It's a little bit different, but not difficult. We're just using two different units, flying geese and square and square. So this one went together pretty easily, even though there are points to match, but just take your time with those, and I think you'll enjoy the block. So I hope you'll give it a try. Now, if you like this video, please click the like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video comes up. And in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links, and to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.